So the Golden Globe nominations came out today, and I have something to say. A few years ago, we had what was called the Oscars So White controversy. What happened was Oscar nominations had came out and they featured a lot of non-people of color. And the African American Black community, we were upset and we were in arms because we felt as though we were not represented. Now, me personally, I felt that the year that the Oscars So White controversy happened, yes, there were some good Black actors and actresses in roles, but I feel as though there weren't a lot of ones that were phenomenal, and I don't think it was the actor and actress's fault. I think that it was an issue that they don't give or they did not give Black people enough roles, or and there was not enough diversity in film in general. Now, the Oscars did respond to this criticism and they self-corrected by adding a lot of people to the voting committee that were more diverse, more people who were of color, actors, actresses, directors, filmmakers, so on and so forth. And since then, the industry has been doing a lot better as far as representation. There have been several different actors and actresses, TV shows, roles that are outside of the box, that are not traditional. And for the most part, representation has been so much better. And this year, 2019, and it has been a great year. And it looks like it's going to be a great year next year, too. We've had so many different actors and actresses of color who are doing amazing things, doing amazing roles, doing roles that are non-traditional, roles that are outside of the box, and I could not be happier. So you can imagine my surprise and my disappointment when the Golden Globe Awards came out today and there were so many egregious snubs for people of color. Starting off with Lupita Nyong'o. If you haven't seen Us, please do yourself a service and go and see it because Lupita Nyong'o gives a master class in performing. I have several videos on my channel that are kind of going over it and reviewing it, but Lupita does such an amazing job. She literally plays two different characters at the same time. And when you think about how she filmed this, like she didn't have anybody standing in when she had to film her scenes with herself. She had to be completely transformative. She had to fight herself. It was a lot on an actress, a very taxing role. And for her to not be recognized is just a bit ridiculous, especially when some other circuits are recognizing her already. And then considering that Cynthia Erivo got nominated for Harriet, and that in and of itself is a bit problematic in my opinion because Cynthia is not very she's not seen very favorably with Black audiences because she is of European descent and she played this historical Black figure, and she has said a lot of problematic things about the African American community. So many people were upset that she even got the nomination. And then you have this a whole other debate about Black people only being recognized for films that are about us suffering, such as slave films. And for Lupita to have this role that was outside of the box, that was very different, and then for her not to get recognized, and then the only nomination that a Black person gets in this category, one of the few nominations that a Black actor or actress even gets for this whole award ceremony, is a slave movie. It's a bit problematic, and there was a whole plethora of problems with the Harriet movie as in general. I felt like it was a very glamorized version of slavery. I think that it was made it was palatable for white audiences and young Black audiences or young audiences in general. I don't think that it really covered the grittiness and the horrors of slavery. I don't think that the stakes were high enough in the film. So those are my gripes with that film. But again, Lupita acted circles around most of the women who were nominated for Best Actress. And then you go over to Best Supporting Actress and you have J-Lo, who got nominated for Hustlers. And I don't even think she was the strongest person in that film. I think Constance Wu did a much better job than she did. And I didn't leave the film thinking that, oh, J-Lo is going to get a nomination for this movie. Not at all. Then I just got done seeing Loose with Octavia Spencer. And that movie was amazing. Loose was great. Kelvin Harrison Jr. also did an amazing job, another Black actor. And again, you have this movie that is about this student-teacher relationship that is not your traditional movie about, racism and slavery and all that other kind of stuff, that features these black actresses, and again, they're not recognized. And the movie, it's not like the movie is bad. The movie has a very high Rotten Tomatoes score. It is very much celebrated by the people who have seen it, and yet it still was not properly recognized. And then you get into some television that was completely shut out. You have Euphoria, which in and of itself has been a phenomenal viewing experience. HBO just consistently knocks it out of the park. So Zendaya, everybody was sure that she was going to get nominated for her performance in that because it was so different for her. Here's this Disney actress playing a drug addict, and she plays it in a way that makes her so sympathetic. It's so raw, it's so real, it's so emotionally riveting, and she was not recognized. And the rest of the cast also did an amazing job. The guy who plays the football player, he is not an actress of color. However, he did a phenomenal job. And when I got done watching that show, I was like, he needs to be recognized for his performance. He wasn't recognized either. You have When They See Us, which already ran its Emmy circuit, was nominated for so many Emmys. Jarrell Jerome got the Emmy Award for Best Actor for a limited series or miniseries, and he was completely not recognized at the Golden Globes. I don't know if the Golden Globes feels like When They See Us already had their day, but for you just to completely shut them out is ridiculous. Ava DuVernay was nominated for her directing on that, which was phenomenal. Watchmen also is a show that's going on right now, and you have Regina King and Yahya Abdul. And Yaha Abdul, he just, I mean, at first I was like, okay, his performance is all right. But this most recent episode of Watchmen, he gave a performance that completely blew me away and showed his range as an actor. And I will always have respect for him going forward. And Regina King, again, she is so badass in this film, kicking butt and taking names. And it is not a role that you normally see a black woman in. And the show creator was gracious. I don't want to say gracious, but he was conscious and willing to take this material that is traditionally made for white audiences and still make it or take it and be true to the original content material and transform it in a way that can appeal to a more diverse audience while keeping the core value of Watchmen and the strength of it all intact. It's just such a phenomenal viewing experience. Abdul and King are just amazing, and again, completely shut out. So I just hope that the Oscars, as far as the film categories, gets this right. And I hope that the Emmys going next year gets this right because, they're more centralized, so there's more room for more nominations. But I am very disappointed in the Hollywood Foreign Press and how they have handled the acting performances this past year. I think if there was any time for us to be up in arms, I think it would be this year, because if these Oscars happen and certain films are not recognized like they should be, and when the Emmys roll around, I think that we're going to have a problem. We definitely are. So here's hoping towards the future. But as of now, I am not. Please let me know what you guys think in the comments below. If you've seen any of these films, let me know how you feel.